Hey, I'm Laura, and recently I got the opportunity to go to Texas and visit the set of the hit series The Chosen. Ahead of season 3, I spoke with some of the cast and crew of the series to get their thoughts on the new season and what it's like playing such iconic figures. I hope you enjoy. Vanessa, thank you so much for joining us on Hope 1032. I really appreciate your time today.
Oh, thank you for having me. Nice to meet you.
Well, you too, and playing the role of Mother Mary is not a small one to have on The Chosen. Tell us a little bit about the appeal of being Mary to you. What did you like about stepping into this role?
Oh, wow. First of all, it was a great challenge. I mean, who doesn't like a challenge, I guess. You can tell a lot about me by that statement. I loved the way she was written on the page. It was such a I had to do a double take when I read the scene I had to make. I had to do for the audition because I was, you know, I couldn't believe this was Mary, the
Mm.
mother of Jesus. She had a sense of humor, and she sounded like my aunt. It was a real woman, and I loved that about her.
And one of the great things that The Chosen does is really humanize these people that we meet in limited ways through what we learn about them in the Bible. How would you
Mhm.
describe the person of Mary from what you've got to bring to life in her through this series?
Well, like I said, she is a woman that, first of all, so inspiring, but because not only because of all the traits that we usually see. We usually see her in this very vulnerable, motherly, loving, feminine, a traditionally feminine light, but she is so strong and so steadfast in her faith, and um it's very inspiring how they're portraying her as, like I said, this real woman,
Mm,
that season one, she is looking for her son, and she's been looking for her son for 2 days, and I'm sure she hasn't slept, and
mm.
she is going to find her son. And so we see her in this different light, and as a friend to to the mother of the groom in the wedding of Cana. So I feel like it's so breathtaking to see her in these in all these other lights.
Mm. And I think,
Mm.
particularly talking of that scene where Mary is freaking out because she can't find Jesus, you feel the authentic distress that any mum would feel in these situations that can ordinarily just feel like a piece of scripture that we're removed from, but you get a sense of the true feeling within them, which I think is a really special thing about this show.
Yeah, I think that's one of the powerful things about TV in general, that where if you read something, it strikes you a certain way, but if you see it played out, then it's just much more powerful. That
Mm.
was actually one of the scenes I had to do in the audition. So when I read it, I thought I had just my baby was 10 months old, so I was relatively new to motherhood, and I couldn't even fathom, losing my baby for 2 days.
Mm.
Oh no. So, there was a lot to draw from, I guess, my own experience, and gift it to Mary.
Yeah, yeah, and we do see it on screen. So well done on that front. And I've
Thank
enjoyed
you.
talking to so many people from the cast of The Chosen and asking them this question about how their character helps us perceive Jesus. Because I think when you
Mm.
look at your character of Mary, if we were to look at Jesus through her eyes, through how she sees him, what do you think we would learn about Jesus?
Mm. I like that. I feel like they have such a unique relationship, Mary and Jesus do. Um, uh, they've had to rely on each other for many years, carrying this secret. Let's put it that way. Um, and I'm sure she regards him, not only as her son, but also as her teacher in a way. You know. And I think a lot of mothers can relate to this too. I have learned so much from my babies. They have taught me so much about who I am, and about what my what I'm lacking and what I need to practice more, patience maybe, and and all those things. So I think that's also something that I could see Mary um, feel
Mm.
with Jesus.
Yeah, I think Jesus would probably be a lot more gracious than a lot of people's own children in terms of how they say, hey, you need to learn this. You need to do this better, mum. You need to do this better, dad. I think he would be a little sweeter
For
about
sure.
that.
Yes, that's for sure.
And coming into season 3, we are so excited to see the first 2 episodes launching in cinemas here as well. What are your expectations from this season? How do you think it's going to land with audiences that have both loved the show so far and also might just be newcomers to the story?
Oh my gosh, I think they're gonna love it. I think there's so much more of what we've learned to know and love from the show. We left it right after the Sermon on the Mount, um, and we start off on the Sermon on the Mount as well, where we now have the 12 disciples together now, and what it means when the excitement of having been chosen by Jesus wears off, and now you actually have to do the work, and you have to get along with people who have come from different paths of life other than yours, and what that means. I think anyone can relate to that. So I expect. Um, I haven't read all the scripts, so I'm going to be watching as another fan, which I am of the show. So a lot more attention, a lot more emotions, and things are getting more real.
And
know?
I get the impression as well from having spoken to some of the actors involved that being on the set of The Chosen really impacts you guys as much as it does us, the viewers watching. Your experience on this series, how has that affected your own relationship to scripture, your own perspectives of faith?
Oh my gosh, I think I have. We are so fortunate to be part of this cast and this crew. They really go above and beyond, and we have gotten to know each other on a personal level, and everyone's such good people, and we really have created a family. So I couldn't be more grateful. But also, um, having such a responsibility to tell these stories, it's so it puts us in this unique position, right, where we're all both in awe of what's happening with this show, and just really thrilled. We also This show is also known for treating their fans to things like the Sermon on the Mount, where 2,000 of our fans came to be with us on set. The feeding of
The
feeding of
5,000.
5,000.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to be there, but because I was giving birth to my baby, I think at the time. But just to share with the fans and to be there and to have them experience this with us. I mean, it really is a treat to be telling this story alongside them.
Yeah, because you're dealing with content that people relate to in so many different ways. So you do have to handle it very gently. Like, I assume it's not necessarily like other acting projects, because there's a personal belief system attached to the work that you're doing. It's not just
For
these
sure.
characters.
For sure, and especially with my character, where it's actually somewhat controversial, depending on what denomination you ask. She can be regarded as as right there, right after Jesus, the very important figure, and some others who just say she's just another woman from the Bible, and nothing special. But even I think this show, what they do so well is they concentrate on their human aspects of these characters, of these people. So whether you believe she is one thing or another, you can't argue that she played a role in this in Jesus's life, and a pivotal one at that. And they had a very unique relationship. So that's what we focus on, and it really brings fleshes out this particular side of Jesus, which and it's so enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, and I have to ask you as well, Vanessa, as we wrap it up, acting was not your first thing. You were studying engineering. You could have had this whole other career. When you reflect on that, the kind of crossroads that you in a way were at, how do you feel about that now, knowing that life could have really gone one way but has actually gone into this really other rich creative space?
Yeah, I always, I don't know, I feel like I always wanted to take this route, and of course I kind of had to take the other route because it was the more sensible thing to do.
Yeah.
So, really, really, something really calms my heart when I get anxious about, should I keep doing acting, or should I maybe take the more sensible route again, because now I have 2 children and a mortgage and all these things I have to, right? But then life always shows me these little posts along the way that tell me, nope, you're on the right path. Just keep at it. And so I'm very grateful that I was able to listen to those signs and to those posts that life gave me. So
it's awesome. Well,
grateful,
thank you and thank you for pressing into it, because it's been a joy to watch your career unfold, especially as part of The Chosen. Vanessa, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Next time, the guy you have been waiting for, Jonathan Roumie, aka Jesus, talks about the true fans of The Chosen.
It also happens to be a project and a series that you don't have to have any faith to appreciate it. You can be an atheist and love the show, and we get letters and messages from atheists all the time saying, I don't agree or line up with the theology, but I love the show, and I love these characters, and I love this Jesus guy. He's pretty cool. And just like, yeah, he is. You check him out.